Barrister, let's talk about Peter Obi again. Let's come back to Peter Obi. Now, there was this, sometime, was it last week or so, where some people criticized him by saying he's being desperate. And I know I have mentioned this before, that Peter Obi's body language and statements publicly actually points to that effect. I have said it before that Obi is behaving too desperate for my liking. Even though you agree with him about this performing in 4 years, you and I had that back and forth last week, that I don't believe he will do anything, nothing's tangible in 4 years. Now there is this where he said, made promise actually that he will bring stability to Nigeria if elected. In 2 years, that he will bring stability in Nigeria. Do you think, Barrister? Now, stability is different from, basically different from what you said earlier, that in 4 years, you'll be able to at least lay a good foundation in 4 years. Even though I disagree with that, because Nigeria has been so messed up that even 8 years cannot lay a good foundation. Because what we need in Nigeria is an overhaul, a total overhaul. Uproot the foundation and start a new one, by at least start with dig out the whatever, exhume the entire foundation, do your foundation, start a new concrete footing. Completely new. So even 8 years cannot do that. We need a successive government that will take over from first 8 years and another 8 years that will continue from where that president. That was why I actually supported Peter Obi and Dati Baba Ahmed then. Because honestly, we really, really missed that point in 2023. And I doubt that we will ever get to that point. Because my imagination, my projection was, okay, we vote Peter Obi, he does with Dati Baba Ahmed, that Peter Obi rules for 8 years. And Dati Baba, because these two people have so many things in common. They have the same ideas and ideology in mind. They have the same principles. So obviously, a Peter Obi presidency and a vice president and Dati Baba Ahmed's vice presidency would have given us an 16 years straight of uninterrupted policy. If we have 16 good years of uninterrupted government policies, that is positive government policies, then we will now talk of, okay, yes, we have laid. That is when we will now beat our chest. Yes, we have laid a perfect foundation for other government to take over. But here we are hearing that that was what I expected. Sorry, that was what I expected in 2023. But look at what happened. The enemy using Bola Tinubu to just truncate this whole idea just went to just oh my God, this is so sad. Now we hear Peter will be something that even me, I believe that it will take. Okay, talk about stabilizing Nigeria. Stabilizing Nigeria is very, very difficult. Very difficult, if not as difficult as even laying, at least starting another foundation. Now, Peter Obi is promising, first, he promised to spend only 4 years. That is one. When I heard that, when I listened to that or whatever, when I watched that, I said, desperation was what hit my mind. This man is becoming too desperate for my liking. And when a politician is becoming too desperate, I begin to see that the politician as someone who will have compromise on the table. He will be ready to compromise his principles. He will be ready to compromise his integrity. Because when you become too desperate, obviously you will take anything and swallow anything just to get your desire. And now it's not even promised. He has not only promised to just do one term. He has promised to stabilize Nigeria in 2 years, should he be elected. Barrister, Do you agree with him? Can Peter Obi stabilize Nigeria? In the definition of stability, the true definition of stability, can he stabilize Nigeria in 2 years?
Yes or no. But let me lay the foundation that number one, politicians on the campaign trail are allowed to exaggerate. We should not read too much into statements made by politicians on the trail. They're allowed to exaggerate and make some promises, which a critical analysis will show that no, they're not realizable or not realizable within the time frame. It's like Donald Trump saying that within 1 day he's going to bring peace between Russia and Ukraine. So politicians are allowed to make those birds in the hand.
No, but hold on. Sorry to cut you short. But, let me tell you one. In the case of Donald Trump, he really meant it. He sincerely meant it.
The sincerity is different from the capacity to bring it about. Peter, you can say the same thing that Peter Obi also sincerely means it. But whether he is capable of doing that is what we will go into, what we will launch into. When you want to answer that question, you now have to ask yourself, what type of stability is he talking about? Nigeria is beset on all fronts. Security, economic, social, and political. Does he put all these things in one basket and say, I'm going to stabilize all these areas?
Yeah, that's the stability we're talking about.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Do you realistically say that all these things can be stabilized in 2 years? It's not realistic. Even for a magician, it's not realistic. But like I said, we allow politicians to make some statements on the trail, but we analyze it and know if we want to hold you and say this is a promise you made, we also have to understand that, yes, it's made, but it's not practicable to do it, or it's not practicable to do it within the time frame that the candidate has. 2 years is too small to tackle either the insecurity, the economy, the social disconnect between the various ethnic groups in Nigeria, which has gone so far, the total distrust of one another. These things cannot be put together in 2 years. It needs building over a sufficient, reestablishing confidence and trust over a sufficient length of time before you can talk of stability. The economy, the same thing. It has been so pillaged and so devastated that there's no magic that you can come and do to the Nigerian economy in 2 years and stabilize it.
Let me ask you a question. Because we read that Ali Modu Sharif, former governor of Borno State, actually said that Peter Obi will come back to PDP. Do you agree with him? Do you believe him?
Well, I cannot say yes or no, because as of now, like I said earlier,
do you think Peter Obi can ever in any circumstance actually go back to PDP?
If I want to make sense of it, I don't think he should. But like you say, a politician at the end is desperate to contest. If at the end of the day that's the only platform.
Do you think Peter Obi is desperate, as I said earlier?
To contest, yes. Very, very correct. He has already declared that he will contest in 2027. How do you come back from that? So in order to contest, you must have a platform. If at the end of the day, the Labour Party platform is not available, the ADC platform is not available, it's only the PDP platform that is available, he will have no choice than to contest under that platform.
No.
Even though I know it will be a critical mistake.
Yeah, okay. But I want you to expatiate on this desperation. If you agree, you said yes, you agree, you believe that he is desperate. Now, what can you expand on that?
When you, just like I said, when you have gone ahead, look, for a person who is not desperate, you look at how things are going and say you are ready to serve the country in whichever capacity that is available or you find yourself. That's how you make the statement you make that put you.
So you think
gives you allowance.
You think
gives you allowance to go forward. But when you have foreclosed the other options and said you want to contest for the presidency in 2027, the only thing that remains is a platform. You have foreclosed serving Nigeria in other capacities. So you only have the contest of the presidency in 2027 in front of you.
So you consider that as an evidence of desperation?
That is evidence of desperation, yes. Because if you are not desperate, you will say, I am ready to serve Nigeria in whatever capacity Nigerians wish for me. That's how, that's the kind of statement you will put. Okay. But when you have now said, I will contest for president,
no, okay,
you are now foreclosing all other possibilities.
No, I agree and disagree with you in that term, because I can understand what is running in his, or what was running in his mind at the time he declared his intention to run for the presidency. And as against my own area, where I see desperation is different from where you see your own desperation. Where I see my own where I see desperation in him is this issue of overpromising. Overpromising, I consider that as overly desperate for that position. Overpromising something that is not realistic. You are promising single term. Single term, you can't do anything in single term, especially in Nigerian system. There's nothing tangible you can do in single term. Overpromising by overpromising 2 years of stability. So to me, these are the signs of desperation. Just a politician saying what he obviously cannot, whatever. But you see, on the issue of going ahead of himself, of going ahead of every other development to declare himself, I think he did that because I just feel if I were in his shoes, I would do the same thing. I just want to close the door for any form of being a running mate to anyone. Because if I were in Peter Obi's shoes, I have attained the pinnacle of political relevance in Nigeria. A pinnacle that no one has ever, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. In the history of Nigeria, is there any politician that has attained political relevance that was born out of genuity, spontaneity, with organism, as Peter Obi? Is there anyone? So he is up there above every other icon in politics. So what do you expect? Of course, for him to foreclose this issue of playing second fiddle to any candidate, that was why he went ahead to do that. So I don't see that as a sign or an evidence of desperation. Barrister, go ahead.
Politicians are allowed to make promises. I remember Bola Tinubu said, and the tape is being played now, that if in 2 years he has not given us 24 hours power supply, nobody should vote for him. These are the kind of promises politicians make on the campaign trail.
Yeah, but Barrister, I do not expect. No, hold on. Sorry to cut you short. Peter Obi is a completely different political breed. You and I agree. We know that. We've been a supporter of Peter Obi. There's no doubt. We believe in him. We believe in what he did in Anambra State. We believe in his antecedents. We believe in his integrity and principles. So he is not in the same league with an average politician. So I don't expect him to be promising what he cannot achieve.
Let's not set a bar or a standard that even angels may not be able to achieve. when you are on the campaign trail, you can become excited and say a lot of give some exaggeration to a lot of statements.
Can we use Donald Trump as an example?
That is an example.
Has Donald Trump ever exaggerated? Hold on. Apart from this Russia thing, and I believe he made this promise on issue of Russia-Ukraine settlement. He made it based on his abilities, his gifts, and his antecedents, his record. We all know how much Donald Trump has achieved from his first term to this term, to this current term. We know his antecedents. So, and everything he promised in the campaign, he didn't do that as a politician. He promised, he actually said what he meant, and he meant what he said. Because his first term, he didn't only fulfill all the promises, he went much further to fulfill the things he didn't promise. And now even in second term, my God, only barely 6 months. Look at what he's doing. He has done so far and what he is doing. So, and everything Donald Trump promised, he has implemented them, or is aggressively implementing them right now. So that is hold on. You can be a politician with integrity who says what he means and who means what he says. Donald Trump is an ample example of such politician.
Whatever you say, at the end of the day, Peter Obi is on the political trail, on the campaign trail, and you cannot take away the excitement that comes with it, the zeal to really cut across to the people. When you are advertising products, you say a lot of things, but everybody, in actual fact, it may not reach some of those things. Even in the Bible, when the angels promised a land of milk and honey, we come to know that the land was not.
No. Don't go there. No.
I'm just talking.
It was truly the land of milk and honey. It's not physical milk, but it is resources.
Let me say, I'm just talking what is called eulogistic commendation. You are allowed to exaggerate a little. Let's not hold a bar that is too high.
I don't agree.
Let's not hold Obi as if he's not a human being. He cannot exaggerate a little. He cannot make promises.
He's over exaggerating. You are allowed to do that, but he's overdoing it. He's overdoing it. I see him more than what he's doing right now. Honestly, I view him better than what he's doing right now. Honestly, the more for the past 2-3 months now, his attitude just keeps discouraging me, because you expected it. You've said it before that you cannot be fighting against the system within the system. You have to fight from the outside. But of course, Peter Obi is fighting from the inside. Fighting from the inside means he's hobnobbing with all the people who partook or who are still partaking in the pillaging of the Nigerian system. So that's just the reality.
And it's also using some of the tools that the system uses.
Yeah, so
it's also using some of the tools that the system uses to succeed within the system.
Yeah, that is just it anyway. Honestly, this is the reason why I said that what Peter Obi experienced in 2023 was unprecedented, and I don't think we will ever get to that point again in Nigeria, because such kind of unusual occurrence takes place once in lifetime. Most times, once in lifetime. That was unusual from the fun. And that was why I was so confident that Peter Obi would be the president there. I was 100% confident, because I saw the trajectory. I saw the trend. The trend was just like what happened with Donald Trump prior to 2016 election, the first time he came in. I saw trend happening from the foundation. I followed the trend of things. I knew quite right that I was one of those people who believed that Trump will win election, will win that first time against Hillary Clinton, because there were unusual trend that happened, unprecedented trend of things that happened from his candidacy, from his personality. Nobody knew. I don't want to go into that, stretch that, but that is it. So that was the same thing I saw, I sensed during the Peter Obi era in 2023. But here we are today, and that is it. And that was Peter Obi got to the climax of his political career. So there is nowhere for nowhere for him to go anymore. When you get to your climax, that's the ceiling. So the only thing that happens next is for you to begin to come down, slide down. And that's exactly what is happening to Peter Obi right now. Unfortunately, I wish the reverse is the case. I actually want Peter Obi. We believe, Manta and I, we've talked about this extensively. We believe in Peter Obi. We believe he's the best. He's not a saint, but right now, in this current political field, he is the saint. He is the angel. Because in the country of in the community of blind men, one-eyed man is the king. Obi is the king of integrity, political integrity, or leadership integrity right now at the moment, based on the people we have on ground.
Or what we have on ground. I say I agree with you 100%.
Yes. So
in the present political dispensation, his shoulders above all the other competitors. They don't come. None of them come close.
Yeah, that is it. But unfortunately, his political fortune got to climax in 2023, and it can only go. It can't go. That is his climax. It can only go down, and that is exactly what is happening. It's coming down. His popularity is waning. Whether the obedient believes it or not, I was an obedient, and I'm still an obedient. That doesn't. So I still believe in him, but I'm a realist. The reality, I'm just analyzing the reality on ground. That's just the reality. So it's just the Peter Obi. Some of our audience, they come bashing. Peter Obi is more popular. Some people will say it's even more popular than 2023. My friend, when I just shake my head, that's not reality. Peter Obi's popularity has waned, and Bola Tinubu is really, really succeeding. Unfortunately, this evil we call Bola Tinubu is unfortunately really succeeding in damaging not just the system, damaging all the political institutions, which includes the political parties and the candidates.